Rocco is coming up with his movie review.
Yeah, Rocco!
And folks, I was in Boston this weekend, and I saw an amazing movie that I'm sure Rocco's going to review in the next couple of weeks called Spotlight. But for this week, what you got cooking, Rocco?
Yes, thank you very much. Before I go into the movie, I'd like to just say a couple words to my own gratitude to our engineer Brian in the studio. It's been great working with you. I've guest hosted the program 4 times now, and one of those was in the studio. And Brian's been so helpful to us, and particularly to myself in doing this. And being on the radio has been a great dream of mine, and the chance to have done it myself in the studio was such a wonderful thing. And I thank Brian very, very much for all the support that he's given us. He's been a very enthusiastic part of, the broadcasting the Beachland Halftime Howie family, and we'll miss you. And getting to the movie I picked is none other than Spectre. It's directed by Sam Mendes. It stars Daniel Craig, Léa Seydoux, and Christoph Waltz. It is, of course, the latest film in the James Bond franchise, inspired by the Ian Fleming novels. And in this latest edition of the film, a bizarre message leads Bond, played by Craig, to knowledge of an evil terrorist organization known as Spectre. For people who may figure out who Spectre is, Spectre, of course, is the ultimate villainous organization that was in the very popular Bond movies of the 60s, like Thunderball and You Only Live Twice, and there was a lot of years of legal wrangling that prevented that nefarious, villainous group from being part of the Bond movies, but now they have a chance to do that now. And the way they reinvented the whole thing, it's not the greatest way they put it back together in terms of the Bond movies. It's great to have like a different dimension into the story. I mean, the Bond movies have been really good with the Daniel Craig movies so far. Casino Royale and Skyfall, the 2 best ones. Been one of the 2 best Bond movies in the longest time since the 60s. And, well, Quantum of Solace was maybe kind of one of the weaker ones. This one, I would rank Spectre as maybe kind of a bit, like, maybe average to, like, above average. It does the Bond franchise relatively well. It's kind of back to where the Bond franchise, as we all know and love, is. With Moneypenny as the secretary and Q as the gadget inventor. So there's a lot of familiarity in this particular Bond movie that is set up. I mean, the movie's really good. It definitely is very exciting, and Daniel Craig is still an amazing Bond. He's probably like the best Bond next to Sean Connery. So there's definitely a lot there. That makes this a great Bond movie for fans of it. I mean, whether or not it will really pan out down the road, in terms of, the viability of this franchise remains to be seen. It's been around a long time. It's been around since 1962, and there's only so many ways you can go with it. But, I mean, overall, it's been a very good run for the Daniel Craig era of James Bond. I don't know if he'll continue making another one, but I think this particular one is good. The action is fantastic. There's great cast as all these Daniel Craig Bond movies have been, and like I said, it's not as good necessarily as Casino Royale or Skyfall, but it's definitely good enough, and I think that if you're a Bond fan, you'll have much to appreciate. So I give Spectre 3 out of 5 stars, so thank you very much.
Hey, great job, Rocco. All right, and after the break, we got Dane DePasquale coming up with the Surfing Report. We got Joe Satriano with inspirational segments. We have Eric Francis for some more singing, and maybe one surprise segment as well. All right. So I am Halftime Howie. This is Broadcasting on the Beach with Halftime Howie. Coming to you live from Pancho's Cantina on Long Island's first and oldest station, AM 1240, WGBB.